Good afternoon, everyone. Caresoft Technology would like to welcome you to our Cloudflare Tech Talk, Securing and Accelerating Public Sector Networks with Cloudflare Magic WAN. Before we get started, I would like to go over a few housekeeping items. The audio portion of this Tech Talk can be heard through your computer speakers. All audio lines have been muted to reduce any background noise. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please use the chat pod at the bottom of your screen, and we will do our best to answer all of your questions at the end of the presentation. If for some reason we do not get to your questions, our team will certainly follow up with you offline. At this time, I would like to introduce you to our speakers today. Hondo Cabral, Senior Solutions Engineer at Cloudflare, and our moderator, Matt Reynolds, Senior Solutions Engineer at Cloudflare. Hondo, I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you, Anna. Go ahead and share my screen. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen there. Just give me a thumbs up, someone. Well, welcome everyone. As Anna stated, my name is Hondo Cabral. I'm a solutions engineer here at Cloudflare, and with me I have my colleague Matt Reynolds, who is also a solutions engineer, and we both are part of the public sector team. So today we're going to walk you through how Cloudflare's Magic WAN product can help enterprises modernize their WAN connectivity, simplify operations, improve performance, and reduce costs. Here's our roadmap for the next 30 minutes or so. So what we're going to do is we'll start by looking at traditional WAN challenges and how Cloudflare simplifies network connectivity between your branch locations, data centers, multi-cloud environment, and for your own users as well on top of that. So taking a look back, let's look at the challenges that network administrators and security administrators, as well as IT leaders, are facing today. Let's just face it, the network is broken, and we all know that, right? The world has changed. Traffic is no longer flowing neatly through your corporate data center to access applications or resources. Many enterprises have transitioned from this centralized design here we see on the left to a distributed environment. So with that being said, the traditional WAN that has been deployed just can't keep up with a modern multi-cloud infrastructure and remote workers. MPLS circuits are expensive. We know that. And the bandwidth is fixed. If you have to make any changes, you're relying on your MPLS provider. The circuits take forever to provision, and if you want to connect a new location, this could take months. Furthermore, you have to back all your traffic to a hub or another location in order to access public cloud environments or SaaS applications. In addition, there's no native security for your traffic flows with MPLS. These are just some of the many issues with SD-WAN. Well, there's many issues with SD-WAN. There's many issues, right? Particularly the security gaps and the complexities of managing an SD-WAN infrastructure. In SD-WAN, security is typically bolted on and requires a separate security appliance to manage alongside with your SD-WAN boxes. In addition, you're still reliant on your ISP's performance at the end of the day, right? For your overall performance on those SD-WAN links. And these are just some of the key drivers that we see people shift from this pure SD-WAN play to a SASE, secure access, secure edge solution. Essentially, what's happened with enterprises over the past decade or so, we've seen them move from a centralized architecture to this distributed architecture, and that distributed architecture has become pretty messy for them. So in this distributed architecture, they've adopted along the way multiple point products for WAN connectivity, optimization, security, which have all led to inconsistent security policies and has become a management nightmare. So if we kind of take a look back on the journey of like how enterprise have gotten here, in a traditional WAN, in a traditional deployment, right, the traditional perimeter castle and moat design, all your applications were hosted in your data center or on-prem. Users would use traditional VPN concentrators or an SSL VPN appliance, which is also located on-prem to gain access to these applications. Your branch office were most likely connected via MPLS circuits or private lines to your data center or headquarters. So in the centralized architecture, this all worked fine. When everything was hosted on-prem, right? There was really no drivers or no reasons to move away from this approach because everything was functioning just fine. There weren't any issues with performance or anything like that. So, as we all know, things drastically changed, right, within the last 10, 15 years or so. And a lot of this had to do with the adopting cloud computing and storage, SaaS applications, and, more recently, within the past 5, 6 years, the eruption of remote workers. So, with that being said, the traditional perimeter firewall that were used in the centralized architecture wasn't able to secure applications in a multi-cloud environment. And your remote workers were still logging into on-prem VPN solutions in order to access resources in the cloud. The user experience was horrible because they had to hairpin on back out to the internet to get to these applications. Your branch locations were still backhauling to your data centers in order to access your cloud environments, which caused a major bottleneck, creating poor performance and latency. So the industry saw these pain points. So what we did was just responded um, with band-aid solutions. So, for instance, ZTNA came in to replace VPNs, cloud-based filtering for internet traffic, SD-WAN to manage branch connectivity, virtual firewalls were deployed in the clouds, standalone tools for data security compliance and multi-town networking. This has created this explosion of tools, which became impossible to manage, ultimately created more security gaps and limiting visibility. So this is where Magic WAN comes in, right? So Magic WAN's goal is to solve all of these issues for you. What is a Magic WAN or Magic WAN networking? It's simply Cloudflare's network as a service solution that uses our global network to connect, secure, and accelerate corporate networks, including data centers, offices, cloud environments, and your users, remote users, regardless of where they may be. Our aim is to replace complex, expensive, and often slow legacy WANs, such as MPLS or traditional SD-WAN deployments, with a cloud-native approach. You can connect all your data centers, all your locations, any user, regardless of wherever they may be connecting to the cloud versus edge. Once they're connected, we're able to deliver a secure, high-performance connection between your locations without appliances with a single UI to manage your WAN connectivity, security profiles, and remote access. And if you still have this legacy WAN infrastructure, such as MPLS or SD-WAN, we can augment that as well with Magic WAN. We can help secure and accelerate performance for your SaaS apps or cloud environment and improve the user experience for your remote workers. So the power behind Magic WAN is our global infrastructure. We have one of the largest networks in the world. We're deployed in over 330 plus cities, 125 different countries. Our overall network capacity as of today is 405 terabits per second. All this has grown. We're constantly adding new sites, new location, and increasing our overall network capacity. Every one of our data center access and network node, we've optimized routing and peering with all major ISPs. So essentially what happens is Cloudflare's infrastructure, Cloudflare's backbone becomes your network for Magic WAN, routing your traffic intelligently across one of the fastest and most connected infrastructures in the world. We're geo-diverse. We leverage IP intercast routing to connect your users, servers, and infrastructure to the closest Cloudflare data center. You won't be routed to another state or thousands of miles away for connectivity. So we get a lot of questions on how our network's better than other providers. And the answer to that, it's our massive global network. We're one of the most peered BGP networks in the globe. We use IP intercast routing. So when a user tries to connect, the network will automatically route and steer that request to the nearest available data center, which is key for low latency, performance, and high availability. We have real-time path optimization. So Magic WAN, whether it's site to site, site to cloud, it's encapsulated and runs over Cloudflare's global private backbone. We have real-time monitoring in place to check the network conditions for latency, packet loss, congestions across all potential paths between all our 330 plus data centers. And your traffic will be dynamically routed to the best path based on the data and analytics we've received. So unlike traditional behavior BGP, so BGP, which is used on the public internet, and we know that it's the number one protocol on the internet, and it simply just chooses the shortest path, fewest hops, right? So unlike that, we will dynamically steer and route your traffic to the fastest and most path provided, depending on what is going to be the most performant. So if we need to add another hop, we don't really care because if that's going to be the fastest path, we will route the traffic that way. So with that being said, what is the first step in getting started with Magic WAN? So we call it on-ramping. We have this concept called on-ramping. Basically, what this means is connecting your users, your network to Cloudflare. So customers can connect to Cloudflare in several ways. One way is if you are co-located with us or close enough to our data centers, we can set up a private connection. Typically, what that is, like just like any other simple direct connect circuit, right? You're going to connect directly to us. We support bandwidth from 10 gigs, 100 gigs. So it's totally up to you on what you want. The benefit of this is security and it's predictable performance. Now, the other option we have, if you're located in one of our 1,600 partner data centers, we can set up what is known as a layer 2 connection to Cloudflare, and we work with partners such as Equinix, Megaport, Packet Fabric, CoreSite, just to name a few. So on top of that, another way of connecting we provide is, depending on where you're at, right, you can use the regular general internet, and we can set up IPsec or GRE tunnels on any device you may have on-prem that's capable of supporting this. It could be a router, it could be a firewall, it could be anything you have. We don't care as long as you're able to establish that IPsec or GRE tunnel to Cloudflare. And the major benefits of this is ease of deployment, um, no location constraints, and you'll still get the resiliency of our IPcast and Anycast network. So it's totally up to you how you want to get connected to us, but we have several options and we can meet you where you are on your journey. So here's a reference architecture on what an organization will look like using Magic WAN. As you can see here, we have your headquarters and it can be connected via IPsec or GRE to us. Your data centers is on-ramp via direct connect circuit or CNI. Basically, what CNI stands for is Cloudflare Network Interconnect. That's what we call it, but it's a basic direct connect circuit. Your cloud environment could be direct connect as well, depending on where they're located, or it can be an IPsec GRE. Any of your users, ZTNA users, is going to be using our device agent. So let's take some of the key features of Magic WAN. What we're able to do is we have a network firewall. We call it Magic Firewall, and this allows for centralized policy management to enforce layer 3, layer 4 rules at the edge. Um, One thing I'll mention really quick is we do offer DDoS protection as well. We have a product called Magic Transit, which we can integrate with Magic WAN. The way that works is we will announce your IP prefixes for you. Traffic will come to us, and we'll apply any layer 4, layer 3 DDoS filtering on that. But it goes hand in hand with Magic WAN. So security is built in, in Magic WAN. It seamlessly integrates with our zero trust security services. And what you get with this is a secure web gateway for consistent policy enforcement and traffic inspection, DNS filtering, ACP filtering, ZTNA access for your own user. We have a CASB, cloud access security broker, and data loss prevention capabilities as well. Here's another look at our Magic Firewall feature set. Magic Firewall can be provided east, west, north, south. It's easy to implement and can be applied globally. Now, our control plane, we have a single control plane that manages all this, and you can do it all from a single console. You can manage your entire corporate network, and unifying your security policy, routing decisions across all your locations. So we have unified policy management. This allows administrators to define all networks and security policies, Magic Firewall. So it's a couple ways you can manage this as well. We also have an API, which you can integrate to manage this. And I also have a lot of customers using Terraform, which has been really popular to manage their Magic WAN as well as anything else they would like to on the Cloudflare dashboard. The cool thing is the policies are then instantly distributed across Cloudflare's entire global edge network, eliminating the need to manually configure separate firewalls or routers on every branch location. So this gets pushed out dynamically to all of our POPs here. So at the end of the day, what this gives you is like it gives you software-defined agility, right? Changes, added new sites and so forth. You can do that immediately. You don't have to wait for that. You don't have to provision anything such as MPLS. So you can add new locations as soon as you're ready to do so. In addition, you get real-time observability, login and analytics. We're going to collect the logs and metrics flows from the single dashboard. You'll see all this. We have centralized visibility. You get a holistic end-to-end view of your traffic, security events, performances across your entire organization. Those drastically simplify troubleshooting. You're able to build compliance reporting. And one thing is we can integrate this in your SIEM as well. We can do a push to your SIEM. We have baked in integration with multiple SIEMs as well. But at the end of the day, we'll support anything that does HCP destination. So what are the use cases for Magic WAN? We'll take a look at some of the more popular use cases. One, as stated, you can replace your MPLS and fragment SD-WAN solution. And this is the number one reason we see customers coming to us to solve these traditional WAN architecture problems. What that's going to allow you to do is cost reduction, moving off your high cost leased MPLS circuits and leveraging cheaper, readily available public internet connections, broadband LTE, fiber at your branch office. Increase agility, eliminating the multi-month lead times required to provision MPLS circuits. As stated, new sites can be deployed like in a matter of minutes as opposed to months. You're going to be eliminating the backhauling. That's always been a performance issue. So rather than accessing your SaaS applications through a central data center backhauling and then going out to the internet, we can connect you directly to these SaaS-based apps as well as your cloud environment. At the end of the day, this is going to streamline your branch connectivity, establish secure, high-performance site-to-site connectivity between your branch office, could be any location, data center, using a unified cloud managed fabric. So taking a look here, you don't have to go all in, but what we can do is some other options for connecting. If you wanted to just do a hybrid cloud type connection, we can do that as well. We can connect to your cloud environments using any of our connection methods. We can do the direct connect, IPsec GRE, and it doesn't matter what cloud you're in, we can facilitate that connectivity. Connecting your data centers, same thing. Here is a use case for connecting your data centers. We can on-ramp via the methods we described. You can create a full mesh network connecting all your RFC 19 IPs and gain access to that and manage it all from the single UI. And another option we mentioned is ZTNA, right? For your remote users, we can facilitate that connection as well. They would use our Warp device client. As you can see here, we have users coming in and we can apply that same consistent security policy for your users, regardless of where they may be. So bringing it all together, this is kind of like what it looks like. Here's the difference on one slide. Magic WAN is faster to deploy, more scalable, easy to manage, and more cost effective than legacy SD-WANs or MPLS circuits. So with that, we're going to move to Q&A if there are any questions. I know we have about 9 minutes left here.
Yeah, and if you haven't found the Q&A section yet, there is a little Q&A question mark bubble at the bottom. Feel free to type your questions in there, and we'll throw them out here to Hondo. Hondo, one of the questions here is what's the difference between Cloudflare's Magic WAN solution and a more, say, conventional SD-WAN solution?
Yeah, absolutely. So the primary difference with that, like if you get an SD-WAN solution, obviously you're having the boxes that you need to manage, right? And you have that fragmented security policies. As opposed to with Cloudflare, you would have an integrated security policy. So SD-WAN security is always bolted on as opposed to being built in. So you have that built in. And another thing is the middle mile issue with SD-WAN. So SD-WAN, you know, you have no control over that middle mile because unpredictable performance, it's best effort, and you'll be affected by latency, jitter, and loss, congestion. And this is just the way it goes with SD-WAN. But with our Cloudflare, our global network, we're able to tune and forward your traffic to the best path with all the analytics we're doing and monitoring. So your traffic will always be routed to the most performant and fastest path.
Great. Um, Another question here is, do I need to buy special hardware to connect a remote site to Cloudflare? Do I need to use Cloudflare's Magic WAN appliance, or can I use an existing router or
Yeah,
firewall?
yeah, good question. So you don't need to buy an appliance. You can use any device you have on-prem that's capable of establishing an IPsec or GRE to us. I stated this could be your router, your next-gen firewall. This could be a router you have sitting on your edge. It could be a layer 3 switch if it's capable to do that. Now, one thing I did not mention is we do have a Magic WAN connector, and that's the only bit of hardware we have. You can get that as well. Um, it'll connect you up to 10 gigabits per second, and that will establish an IPsec connection to Cloudflare's edge for you. And the other options I stated, if you're in one of our data centers or if you're in the cloud, you can always do the direct connect, Cloudflare network and interconnect, and we can do that directly, or we can do that if you're in one of our data centers, you can do layer 2 fabric with some of our providers such as CoreSite, SwitchNAP, and so forth.
Another question here is, I have a mix of cloud providers like AWS, Google,
Mhm.
and Azure.
Yes.
Can I connect all of them with Magic WAN?
That is correct. You can connect them all with Magic WAN to our global network and control those policies. We can route between them as well. Same connection methods. Those you can do IPsec GRE, or you can do a direct connect from those cloud environments. And we also have something else that I did not mention. That's called a work connector as well, which can be utilized.
Great. One more question. In terms of implementation, this is a question on implementation. Do I have to rip and replace my whole network at once, or is it easy to test this? Like, what's the path to test this with just a couple sites?
Yeah, that's definitely where we're going. We have a lot of customers come in. They'll test it on a couple sites. So it's basically if you wanted to test this, we generally do not test a CNI, a direct connect in the data center. What we recommend is using IPsec or GRE. So you can pick a site or location, a couple sites, create that IPsec GRE to Cloudflare, and then we can start building policies based off of that. And as stated, you can use anything. We've had a couple customers use like a smaller NGFW to facilitate that connection for various different coast locations to test this and do a proof of concept.
Great. Okay, I think that's all I have here for questions.
All right, great. Well, there are no other questions. Thank you, and we're gonna hand it back on over to Anna.
Thank you, Hondo and Matt. I want to thank all of our participants as well as our speakers for being with us today. We hope that our tech talk has been helpful for you and your organization. If you have any further questions or would like to request more information, please feel free to contact us. Our contact information is displayed on your screen, so please don't hesitate to call or email.